Are you ready? Okay.
Hello, neighbor, what do you say? It's gonna be a very good day.
Belonging is when you feel safe, you feel nurtured, feelings that make children want to be at school.
The need to belong is universal. And unfortunately, rejection on some level is universal as well.
I'm Amanda Harris. I'm a professor. I study child development and why kids get rejected and ostracized.
I'm Adrienne Carter-Sal, and I'm a professor in psychology. Belonging is one of the, I guess, core elements of survival. We're social by nature.
So if a child doesn't feel like he or she belongs in the classroom, especially in the early years like kindergarten and first grade, you're not going to learn. You know, a lot of learning in those early years is in the group, and it's through play. Your parents' acceptance of you only goes so far. There really is a time when you need to be accepted by peers.
And that feeling of not fitting in and not belonging is something that is contagious and very hard to forget, and it follows the students from one situation to the next.
Hi, Noella. Hi, I'm Kip Williams. We'll head down to the laboratory. And then I'll take you to a room with a computer in it. There'll be instructions that will tell you what's going to happen.
We were able to put together a really accessible and simple video game.
You're led to believe that there are people in other rooms that are playing the game with you.
What you see in this simple game of toss is that an individual either is included or excluded.
This is the participant's hand. When he has the ball, then he can choose to whom to throw the ball. And if I'm in the ostracism condition, at this point, I will never get the ball again. So the two players just start throwing with each other, and I'm left just waiting around, and then finally realizing that I'm not going to get the ball thrown to me.
Yeah, call me the ball. They don't want to pass to me.
Here is a young man who is playing cyberball. And if you can see, he's just starting to notice that they're not throwing him the ball. And the first response is that he thinks it's kind of funny. They're playing with him a little bit. But as soon as he starts to realize that they're not going to throw the ball back to him, you can see this drastic shift from thinking it's funny to not thinking it's funny. And in this case, it's signaled about right there. And at this point on, you don't see much in the way of smiling or anything, and you can see that he's not happy, as was just shown by his gesture.
Astounding to me was recent research where they did brain scans of people who were experiencing physical pain versus an experience of rejection, and they really couldn't tell the difference between the brain scans, that your brain is processing ostracism just like physical pain. And we've known this. We say, my heart is broken, you hurt my feelings. We use pain words, but to your brain, it is all pain.
When students feel rejected, then they start to think, I am not a good student. And I think that the goal in having everyone be successful in the classroom is not about how smart they are, but it's about they're smart enough to be a student here.
When people say, well, we need to focus on reading, writing, and arithmetic, if they can't do that if they're in that state of social pain.
Having everyone understand that pain is something that we all feel is really important. Also having people care about how to resolve that pain.
Seeing all of these things, it's pretty amazing what they've done.
I know.
It's so good to be back.
I know. It's nice to have you here. We've always known what needed to happen with children, but now the research is out about how the brain actually functions and how all of these things help kids learn.
I wish I would have learned it 32 years ago. I'd gone to all the trainings, I read the books, but something powerful hit me, and it was when I read an article about Vivian Paley and the rule, you can't say you can't play. I started that in my classroom of everyone accepting everyone, and you can't tell people they can't play. It was like magical, and I thought, oh my word, why haven't I been doing this?
When you have students who are doing things that are causing them to be ostracized or rejected, okay? Maybe they're very hyperactive or they're bothering other people. What we've got to look at is, are they doing that on purpose?
Those are the hardest ones. Those are the ones you're gonna connect with first. That's gonna be your cue.
If they knew better, they would do better, right? And so we're really not gonna be able to teach them to do better until we help them to feel regulated, to feel belonging and acceptance, and to be able to understand that they also have the power to participate and practice new skills.